Good morning. I hope you all got a good sleep. You're all ready to go. Batteries are recharged. We were having an interesting talk at breakfast this morning, and I wanted to touch on something. I was listening to an interview by a man named David Foster, who is an impresario. I'll come back to him a little later because he had some interesting observations. But Darren Hardy, the interviewer, president of Success Magazine, was asking him, "So what do you do on the weekends?" And he stopped. You could hear the blank in the tape. And he said, I don't know any successful person who does not work 6 days a week. I don't know any successful person who doesn't work 6 days a week. And sort of led to the conversation. The fact is that if you're an entrepreneur and you're in the right field, you love your work. You really enjoy what you're doing, and therefore doing what you're doing is not work. And because it's not work, because of the path of least resistance, you have a tendency to do it all the time, and to do it and do it and do it, and your day expands. And you know, Dan Sullivan has this wonderful line. He says, every day for an entrepreneur is a potential work day. So therefore, you work on Saturday, you work on Sunday, you work on Monday, you work on your vacations, you work in the evening, you just work all the time. So for you not to work, which is absolutely essential for you to get enough rest, to recharge your batteries, to become creative, for you not to work is much harder than to work. And what Barbara and I love to work. I mean, if you don't slap my hand, I'll just keep working, I'll write books and I'll do articles and so on. So I have to discipline myself and promise Barbara I will take I'll take a day off a week. Now, it'd be nice to take more days off a week, but most entrepreneurs work 6 days a week because they love what they're doing and they're getting good results. And there was a book that came out the other day, it was a few years ago, and it was called something about the beauty of the Sabbath or something like that. And it was by a Jewish writer who wrote about the Sabbath and how important it is to incorporate a Sabbath into your busy work week. Now, a Sabbath, if you saw the movie Fiddler on the Roof, which is how much I know, it starts at 6 o'clock on Friday night and goes until 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. So it's 36 hours. And I'm going to suggest to you that you need to discipline yourself, and it takes tremendous discipline not to work for a good entrepreneur. We have to hold ourselves back, like holding the reins of a horse, because we love to work. And so, but you have to stop working because you have to recharge yourself, rejuvenate. You've got to spend more time with your family. You have to exercise. You have to go for walks. You have to smell the roses along the way. So what I'm going to suggest you do is that you resolve that from now on you're going to have a Sabbath every week. And it can start at 6 o'clock on Friday night and end on Sunday morning. Or it can start at 6 o'clock on Saturday night and it can end on Monday morning. But take 36 hours and just take that time and refuse to work. And you'll find that it's hard. So you have to promise the people around you that you're not going to work at this time. You have to plan in advance, and then at 6 o'clock, ka-chunk, stop the work. And just discipline yourself not to work. Now here's the great thing. First of all, you'll soon learn to like it. You'll get into the rhythm of it. The second thing is that you'll be much more productive the rest of your days, the rest of your weeks, if you're fully rested. Remember, I said yesterday, what's the most important work in America? What's the most important work that you do? It is what? Thinking. And thinking is so critical, but it's not just thinking, it's rested thinking. If you can imagine a battery trying to start a car on a cold morning and the battery's dull and going, won't start the car. Well, your mind is like a battery as well. It has to be recharged for it to function at really high levels. So rested thinking time is the most precious thing you have. When you take the time to rest, you'll come up with great ideas, you'll solve problems, you'll have insights, you'll be more personable, you'll have more energy. You know that if you start off a day tired, you kind of drag the whole day and you end up doing little useless things. You have no sort of energy to get into those big important tasks, so you end up just working the whole day on your bottom 80%. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? But if you're fully rested, you want to get into something meaty, you want to get into something important. So it's really important that you discipline yourself to take time off, to rest. Now, I've had people in my coaching programs like this for years, and I've explained to them that there is a problem in America amongst business owners. It's called sleep deprivation. About 60–70% of American adults are sleep deprived. They all work for the government, you know. But the point is that we don't get enough sleep. How many people here woke up this morning thinking about when you could go back to bed tonight? No, you know something's wrong here. If the first thing you think of is, when can I go back to bed? I got to get up. When can I go back to bed? And so therefore, you need to get 8 hours of sleep. You need 8 hours of sleep in order to rejuvenate your mind and your body. Your body burns an enormous amount of energy when you are running your business, and you need to rejuvenate. You need 8 hours. And I've had people in my classes who are working on 5 hours a night for week after week, month after month, And I forced them, I asked them to start sleeping 8 hours a night. Go to bed at 10, get up at 6. Go to bed at 10, get up at 6, get 8 hours. And you know what they told me? They came back 90 days later and they said, it was like waking up from a fog. It was like being in a drug-induced fog. And after a week of sleeping 8 hours a night, they could not believe. I mean, the whole world was different. One gentleman lost 22 pounds in that 90 days because if you're tired, you eat a lot because your body's screaming for sustenance. So you're eating all the time, and you're eating not necessarily that good. If you're fully rested, your body doesn't demand that you eat so much food. Especially, it doesn't demand that you eat sugars to give yourself a quick energy hit. Are you with me so far? So just taking 8 hours of sleep a night can change your whole life.